This video will be somewhat different from most in that today we will be discussing a long list of beings rather than just one. Since most of these creatures are relatively simple in their physical appearance, they can be fully discussed quickly. I hope you enjoy. Fell beasts, also known as hellhawks or Nazgul birds, are surprisingly misunderstood creatures, in terms of appearance, that is. In the movies, they are gray and long-necked, with a shriek to their voice. In the books, it had a horrible stench, webbed fingers, no feathers, and, perhaps most interestingly, a long beak. This beak was at the front of its head, obviously, which Elwyn cut off. It was bred by Sauron and also, presumably, black. The Watcher in the Water was an ancient and horrible creature which attacked the Fellowship of the Ring before the gates of Moria. So old was it that even Gandalf didn't know what it was. This has led many to conclude it was a nameless thing, though I personally disagree. Interestingly, it first seized the ring-bearer Frodo. In the books, only its tentacles were visible, which were long, sinuous, pale green, and luminous, with a fingered end. It is also very strong, uprooting trees to block the doors of Moria. Trolls are huge, lumbering beasts. They were created by Morgoth in mockery of the Ents, and are turned to stone by sunlight. They appear to be quite large and muscular. There are many variants of trolls, but the most noteworthy are Olighai, who are immune to the sun. There are also troll men or half-trolls. Men from Far-Harad were described as like half-trolls, and said men were stated to have, quote, white eyes and red tongues. Mumakil are one of the few creatures that were almost identical in the movies and books. Mumakil were large, elephantine beasts. They had huge horns and massive legs. By the hobbits, they were called elephants. Werewolves were monsters inhabited by dark spirits specifically sent by Sauron, known often at this time as Gorsar. Despite their name, they are not shapeshifters and have no connection to the full moon or lunar cycles. They were large, even by the standards of wargs, and dwarfed most wolves. They were also incredibly cunning, being able to converse with humans. Karkaroth, who shall be mentioned in a minute, was noted to have poison fangs, though it is unknown if other werewolves share that characteristic. There are two werewolves of special note besides Sauron's wolf form, which I mentioned in a previous video linked below. The aforementioned Karkaroth and Drugulin, father of werewolves. Drugulin was not noted to have anything special about him, save that he was large enough to survive combat with Huan for sufficient time to warn Sauron of the latter's presence before succumbing to his injuries. Karkaroth was, as mentioned before, poison-toothed and massive, though not as large as Drugulin pre-Silmaril. After devouring the Silmaril, his stomach was melted and he grew much stronger. It is possible that Karkaroth got a glow in his eyes or mouth due to his intense heat. And finally, what every normal person was waiting for, dragons. Dragons can be divided into two characteristics with 3 tiers each. Characteristic 1, fire. Tier 3, no fire. Basically, dragons who cannot breathe fire. This and the following tier includes cold drakes. Hot, vapor, and smoke. Dragons who breathe intensely hot vapor and smoke. Fire. Dragons who straight up breathe flame, also known as Urloki. Most famous dragons are here: Glaurung and Celegon, Smaug the Golden. Characteristic 2, locomotion. Tier 3, serpent-like. Basically, dragons who are glorified snakes. This tier could include sea serpents or wereworms. Lizards. Lizard-like dragons with no wings but 4 legs. Famous dragons from this tier include Glaurung, father of all dragons. Full dragons. A lot of dragons here. The Enkelegons and Smaugs of the world. Winged, legged, and clawed. These characteristics can be mixed together however one wants to create a dragon of their choosing. And that's all. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, please say what I could do better, but still give me a thumbs up. And remember, this is all my opinion, so it is obviously right. Goodbye. Thanks for sticking to the end of the video. As a prize, I've got not one, but two bonus creatures to show you. Eagles and stone giants. Yes, I know, the former are quite self-explanatory, but it's still quite interesting. For example, did you know that swan deer had a wingspan of 30 fathoms, or 180 feet? Giants are also interesting, having thrown massive boulders in just a game. Gandalf claimed he found a more or less decent one to block several orc caves. Though the giants are somewhat implied to be massive, their physical appearance was never shown.